Morning everyone, so it's day 162 and it's 9 o'clock here in Les Sables d'Olonne. Beautiful day, sun shining and everyone's talking about it. The sun's been shining for 5 days or something here. So it's quite a cool day. Very cool still, but crisp and clean, so that's kind of fun. A few interesting little things going on. Guy got underway about 6 or 7 hours ago. He managed to get himself a life raft, sort out the frame, and actually get that bolted down on board and set sail today. So it was about 12:30 or thereabouts on the 14th local time, Hobart. So he's on his way to Cape Horn. What I said in the post, which is below this, was that you can link to his Facebook page, which you want to follow anyway, because Julie and his team will actually keep updating what they're getting, what feedback they're getting from Guy, and they will also then clearly direct you to his tracker to follow his voyage. He's on his way around Cape Horn and then back to Europe to complete his solo circumnavigation, which is pretty cool, and we wish him well. For the GGR though, he's actually finished with the GGR from not making the gate and so on. So you're all pretty clear on all of that. So that'll be a bit of fun, and later on, in a couple of days, we'll catch up again and we'll actually post his actual tracker connections and his website and all that sort of stuff on a post online, just so we can, for those that don't see this or read the other post. So that's pretty cool. And then I receive every day anywhere from sort of 4 to 8 emails from people. Usually they're kind of fun, people are really happy with what's going on. Sometimes we get some constructive criticism, but apparently a lady got right up me because apparently yesterday I only gave Kirsten half 1 minute or something and didn't talk about her. Two things there. We had a few things on yesterday. I had a personal issue and I had to get out at 8 o'clock to rush off to a certain appointment that I had. And so I was not rushing it. I gave it everything I thought we needed, and maybe I did. I haven't actually looked back and replayed it. So if I stuffed up with Kirsten and didn't give her a big rap, I'm not shameful about that, or all the other things this lady said to me about it. And Kirsten's a great mate, and usually we're criticised for giving her too much press and exposure. So to that lady, there you go. It happens. Sometimes we don't get to do everything we want to, but I'm not ashamed of what happened with Kirsten yesterday. And remembering that Kirsten herself, we can only talk about the actual on-board activities from tweets that we get, and Kirsten's happy to say all okay, or the phone calls. So there's not a lot of ability for us to expand on that, even if we wanted to. And I'm happy just to carry on as we are. But this lady, wow, she certainly made an impression. She called us an old boys club and blah, blah, blah. It was a classic. So anyway, I'll have a look at this later on and I'll replay it and see how bad I was for Kirsten yesterday. Okay, so we'll come back here to Ian and we'll talk about Simon, of course, when we get over that way. So Jeremy and Ian are having a little bit of fun back here. No big stress anywhere, but Ian's still making speed. I thought he'd slow down a bit more. He's done 81 nautical miles in the last 24 hours, which is pretty good. Doing 5.2 at the moment, so he's no complaints with that. He's got just enough breeze to keep going. Jeremy's out of the big winds and settled down to a pretty nice southwesterly, doing 6.5, and you can be pretty certain that the sea's also backing off, so they'd be enjoying this. Probably down around 3.5, 4, 3.5. It's starting to go blue, so both of them are having really nice sailing. In terms of cloud cover, yep, pretty clear, blue sky. They're having a great time. Jeremy will be happy to sort of slow down a bit or get less wind anyway, because he had a bit in the last few days. Ian will be happy just to have wind because he was short for a bit. But anyway, they're doing okay. We'll come back here and then we'll push the weather forward a bit and see what to expect. Here we go. About a day ahead. And Simon, Jeremy will stay in this. He'll be going forward into this one. So you've got a southerly beam reaching along the line. Pretty cool. It looks like there that this. I'm just going to come back and toggle this now, because that's going to go over the top of Ian. He's going to slow down. Yeah. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's got eight. Yeah, not good. It's going to go headwinds. So he's got 8 hours of frustrating sailing for him. He'll either go port tack, I reckon, to start with, and then he's on the wrong side of that little high. Jeremy's going to hold in there, but then fortunately the centre of the high's come up high enough that he's getting a northeaster, and that'll allow him to go on port tack, and then that should turn in possibly into a northerly. So this is now on the 15th, midnight on the 15th, or coming up to it, and then he's going to get a strong northerly. So he doesn't want to go too far down the line, because Ian definitely likes going with the flow, and that's probably 28, 30 knots gusting, 35, with like a 5 metre sea maybe. So that'll be interesting to watch. But that's going through to midnight on the 15th. It's happening pretty quick. So yeah, he's got some frustrations. Jeremy's okay. He's doing pretty well there. He's high enough to take this northerly. Then Ian's got a nor'wester. He should be okay in terms of not getting pushed into the zone. He's just got to work a little bit harder to take the breeze, maybe a little bit more on the beam. So not perfect weather for him, but not too bad either. So that's the next day. So the next couple of days, Jeremy's looking good. He'll be able to make the most of that. And Ian's got a few frustrations, but nothing to be concerned about. So all cool on that front. Then, okay, Captain Goog, he's been up and around and all over the place, but doing really well again. He always gets consistent speeds, 5.2, seems happy on board, always something going on. 108 nautical miles in a day, and it's pretty respectable. I think we'll do everyone's weather in a minute together, okay, so we can see how it goes, because they're all, on the map, and we can see what's going on. Abelish is well and truly racing again in this sort of breeze. He's making 6.6, done 142 nautical miles in the last 24 hours, and this is probably 25 knots gusting 30 in about a 3 to 4 metre sea, so all pretty good. And Kirsten's, this is a bit strange here, because she's now dipping south. She must be worried about this breeze coming here. I'm not sure what she's up to there. But she's doing 5.6 knots. I'm going to expand that so you can see what's happening with her course. Just to give you an idea. Where is she here? Here she comes. Yeah, this is kind of interesting. She wants to... Cape Horn is just over here, okay? And she's heading south. Why is she doing that? 5.6 knots. That's interesting. So that's in the last... I think that must be the last track. So I'm just going to check the distance here. This is the first time I've seen this. No, that's 20 miles. So she's been heading in that direction for the past 3 hours or so. No idea why she's heading in that course. She's got something up her sleeve. Maybe it's because of the weather that's happening, that's coming her way. She should still be getting forecasts from Peter and Dingo, and it's projected to be a southwesterly, and that's going to put her on a lee shore, which she won't like. So she's probably just giving herself sea room, because let's just work this through. I'm going to make it smaller now so you can see all three, and let's look at what's going to go on here, because this is going to come over Kirsten. So Goog's up the top here at the bottom end of a high above him. Abelish is just on the top of this southwesterly westerly wind. We'll forget about Simon at the moment, because he's going into an anchorage. And if we just toggle that forward, we'll see how it evolves. Oop, picked up a boom. Sorry, come back there. Okay, so that's real time today, and everyone, when I get this started, is an hour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In about 8 hours, it's going to flow through to a pretty solid sou'wester. That's going to be 30 knots gusting, maybe up to 40. It's in the 30 range, gusting to 40. Sea state at that point is going to start picking up. Let's have a look at the sea. Okay, waves. Yep, going through 4 or 5. A bit more. And it starts to get pretty solid Southern Ocean stuff. Not a storm, but certainly solid. Cloud cover, patchy at the moment. There's a bit of rain there. She might have caught a bit, but it's patchy. So I think she probably knows where she is. That's a reasonable expectation. And so obviously what she's doing is she's just giving herself sea room. She's just headed south, doesn't want to be caught up here under pressure. If she was coming along here, cut the corner, then she's going to get closer and closer as she goes. So she's after sea room, pretty obviously. And that means she is getting weather forecasts, probably from the Guardian and Pete on the other side. So and Weatherfax could still be receiving some of the stuff from New Zealand and Australia, but I'm not sure about that. So okay, so we'll just keep it toggling. This is late today, so it's come over in about 8 or 9 hours, and then she's going to be in it for probably 2 days. But that'll send her around. She can, when that's blowing, okay, she'll make a course. It's going to be coming in. It's a distinct southwesterly, a strong southwesterly, and she'll pretty comfortably be able to, make a westerly course. Yeah, she should be pretty comfortable. And if you follow that along, you'll see that she's even following a westerly course. She's only just going to make Cape Horn. But in time-wise, in a time reference, if I just come back to get rid of this and keep toggling, I'll tell you how long she's... Come on, get rid of that, hit that again. So this is 15th, so that's about a bit over 24 hours from now, so there's 1 day. And then we're now going into day 2. It's starting to lighten off, which is a good thing, and it's going southerly. Right, so again, not the best breeze, but because it's getting quieter, to go through there with southerly, she definitely needs sea room. So she's got a good forecast, and that's what she's doing. So no storms, very manageable for her, but a very common sense thing to do. Head south as quick as you can before it turns southwest and starts increasing. Abelish, if we go back there, he's pretty much on track, but again, you don't want to get too close here. You know, you can see what happens. If he carries on that course, he's coming down here. It's all pretty close if you get a big blow coming there. So, but he knows what he's doing as well. He's a naval officer, you know, and he knows navigation really well. And I believe he's getting weather forecasting. He's got a light patch there, so he'll slow down a bit. And then, fortunately, this is the good news for Abelish, because by this stage, we're into the 16th already. Kirsten will be getting very close to Cape Horn, and Abelish is on a northwesterly. But you still have to be cautious there. And as I say, I'm not sure how much weather he gets. Goog's pretty much making a beeline for Cape Horn. He's still got room to head south, but he's got pretty reasonable weather. No big storms, even there. You know, this is now 2 days, 17, 14, 15, 16, 17. He'll be down here somewhere. That's very good for Goog. Just solid Southern Ocean stuff without being any storms. So, you know, it's still a good window. You know, he's making good time. Interesting point. Apparently, I may have read the distance between Kirsten and and Joshua when I'm just going to do the distances now, just to if I go here, come on, okay, one there. I might have read the distance between. I don't remember that. I'll have to have another look. Okay, he's 1,000 miles. I'm just going to pick this up so we can measure the distances. Cheapest. Jumping, sorry. Okay, we might be able to see everything from here. Yeah. Okay, so Goog's just under there. We know it's under there. So he's about 1,100 miles from, or a bit over 1,100 miles from Kirsten. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And then, okay, and then, no, cheapest. Why did it do that? Okay, I want to bring it back to see roughly where he is in relation to Abelish. Okay, so he's about, he's going to be about near enough to 1,000 miles behind Abelish as well, you know, something like that. And then if we get this back to see, something's going wrong here. Okay, so I'll get rid of that. Okay. Okay, what I want to do now is go for a distance for Abelish from Cape Horn. Okay. Cape Horn to Abelish. Beeline, this is cheapest. Okay, he's near enough to 500 miles from Cape Horn, and it keeps jumping down to make it bigger every time. So about 500 miles for Abelish. And Kirsten, she's not interested in Cape Horn at the moment. She wants to go south, but when she gets down there, she's arcing across. She's going to be about 240 miles once she decides to go left, and that'll be in the next sort of 5 or 6 hours. So then she's got 240 miles. 2 days' time, she'll be around the corner, for sure. So that's 15, 16, sometime in the 15, 16. So that's plenty on that one. If we let's go and find out where Simon went to. I'm going to start zooming in now to see where he is. Okay, he took our advice by the look of it. The island that went, you see in the post, he was in this position here with some, pretty solid winds, and he was talking about coming down to this island here. If you listen to the SoundCloud, when I was talking to him, we were suggesting this one, and he brought up this other one. And then when the chart was put in front of me, Seb was pulling up the navionics. I had no idea where this was. I thought it was one of these. And it wasn't until after the conversation I panned out. I thought, oh, cheapest, he's going to try and push to windward all this way. So then in our text that we sent, Lutz sent him a weather forecast and we discussed it, and he sent the text. We strongly suggested he come backtrack on the weather, right, which would have been 50 miles or something, but very much easy to do with the wind behind. He's not really on a lee shore then because he's got manoeuvrability, and he's picked up right on the anchorage that we suggested. So let's just zoom right in, and you'll see where he's tucked up in here. It's very secure. It's a big wide bay that's real snug, because the other one would have had we estimated by windy it was going to be 3 metre swell across the anchorage. Here he's very secure. He hasn't, it looks as if he's come straight across here or down here. He hasn't. He's actually transited in around the back here. That's about 3 miles across the entrance of this bay, and he's tucked up in here in a shelving thing, very few hazards. And it's likely he'll sit here now for about 3 days, because what he doesn't want to do is, if we pan out now and we'll look at the next 3 days for weather, he doesn't want to go out and be stressed about headwinds and stuff again. So he wants to leave when it's happening now. Okay, so for now it's gone westerly, and to a degree he could come rocketing down, but I think it showed that I'm just going to toggle this through now. Okay, so that's interesting. It's a bit average for the next few hours, but then it's going to set back into, you see what happens here. If he went out in that, he's got now a south-southwesterly right on the nose for going down. It's a lot lighter, but it's still not too favourable for what he wants to achieve. Gets a bit heavier there. So this is now on the 15th at around midnight, and there's a direct southerly, so he'd be tacking, and just it's getting stronger on the coast, and then there's no wind on the outside. So it's the 16th now. So that's still not favourable for going south. So there's the 17th. It's light, but it's still a southerly to get out of there. So he's got some decisions to make. Now Chichester is an interesting situation because they're not racing, they're not in for any trophies, or they just get back when they can, and so on. So we can afford to give them the opportunity to use the GPS to get in these at night time, and he'll seal it up when he leaves again. He'll take a photo, seal it up. Now the issue is we gave him weather forecast to get in there. We don't necessarily now need to give him tactical weather forecast to make a decision when he comes out. We have to decide on that later. He'd probably love us to give him weather forecast to decide when he goes, but let's just wait and see. He should be able to get local weather. He should be able to receive local weather. I'm not sure if you can understand the language. And he should be able to get an HF station, maybe, but maybe not in the anchorage. So there's still some interesting things for Simon to consider going forward. Anyway, that's a bit of a long one, and thanks for that. We love seeing your comments and letting us know you're there and what you think, and I'm going back to see what I said